Today we are counting down 11 Harley-Davidson motorcycles that dealers are trying to dump as fast as possible. These are bikes that were supposed to be home runs, but instead turned into showroom ghosts, sitting untouched while discounts keep getting deeper. Stick around, because number one is a bike that was hyped as the future of the brand, but ended up becoming one of the biggest dealer headaches Harley has ever created. Let us get started. Number 11. Sportster S. The Sportster S was supposed to be a rebirth, a clean break from the past, and a modern performance machine carrying one of the most iconic names in Harley-Davidson history. On paper, it looked unstoppable. The Revolution Max 1250 engine delivered brutal acceleration, advanced electronics, and horsepower numbers that finally put Harley into modern performance conversations. Ride modes, traction control, cornering ABS, and a full digital display made it the most advanced Sportster ever built. But the problem was not the specs. The problem was the rider. Traditional Harley buyers did not recognize it. It did not sound like a Sportster. It did not feel like one. And it certainly did not look like one. Forward controls clashed with a tall seat height, creating a riding position that felt awkward and unresolved. Long rides became uncomfortable. Short rides felt cramped. The tiny fuel tank turned everyday use into a planning exercise. Then came the price. At roughly $15,000, buyers started asking hard questions. Why not a low-rider S? Why not a used touring bike? Why not a proven naked bike from another brand with better ergonomics and broader appeal? New riders found it intimidating. Experienced riders found it impractical. Harley loyalists rejected it outright. Today, Sportster S models linger on showroom floors, quietly discounted, silently reminding dealers that modernizing a legend comes with consequences. Number 10. Nightster Special. The Nightster Special was meant to fix everything the Sportster S broke. This was Harley-Davidson's attempt at a true gateway motorcycle. Smaller engine, lower weight, more approachable, still modern, still premium, still unmistakably Harley. The Revolution Max 975 engine delivered respectable performance paired with modern electronics and safety systems. On paper, it looked like the right balance. In reality, it fell into an identity trap. To experienced riders, the Nightster Special felt underpowered and visually plain. To new riders, it felt expensive and intimidating. At nearly $13,000, it lived in a dangerous price bracket where Japanese and European competitors offered more performance, better ergonomics, and lower ownership anxiety. Styling made things worse. The bike tried to blend modern and classic, but landed somewhere in between. Too generic for traditionalists. Too conservative for younger riders. It did not offend anyone, but it did not excite anyone either. Accessory options were limited. Resale values dropped quickly. Dealer enthusiasm faded even faster. What was supposed to bring new blood into Harley-Davidson instead became another slow-moving unit, one that looks reasonable on a spec sheet but struggles to justify its existence on a sales floor. Enjoying the video? Consider hitting the like and subscribe button to help out the channel. Number 9. Fat Bob 114. The Fat Bob is one of the most polarizing motorcycles Harley-Davidson has ever produced. Squared LED headlight, inverted front forks, thick tires, aggressive stance. It was a deliberate departure from tradition, designed to attract performance-minded riders who wanted something different. Mechanically, it delivered. The Milwaukee 8114 engine produced massive torque. Suspension and braking were significantly improved over older Softails. In isolation, it was one of the best riding cruisers Harley had built, but motorcycles are not bought in isolation. Traditional Harley buyers hated the styling, calling it too futuristic and too far removed from brand identity. Performance riders compared it to bikes like the Indian Scout and found it heavy and overpriced. At prices creeping into the high teens, buyers began cross-shopping aggressively. The Fat Bob was not comfortable enough for touring, not light enough for real performance, and not classic enough for purists. As performance-focused models like the Lowrider S gained traction, the Fat Bob was quietly pushed aside. Today, it remains one of the most visually striking bikes on the floor, and one of the hardest to sell without incentives. Number 8. Road King Special. The Road King Special looks perfect in photos. Blacked out finishes, hard saddlebags, no fairing, pure presence. It represents the stripped-down bagger aesthetic that dominates online praise and social media admiration. But admiration does not always translate to sales. Buyers seeking real touring comfort quickly realize they want wind protection, infotainment, and long-distance ergonomics. That pushes them toward the Street Glide or Road Glide. Meanwhile, riders who want minimalism often look at softails that are cheaper, lighter, and easier to live with. The Road King Special ends up trapped between two buyer types, satisfying neither fully. At prices exceeding $25,000, the value proposition becomes hard to defend. For similar money, a Street Glide offers significantly more functionality with minimal visual compromise. Dealers report Road King Specials sitting longer than expected, often requiring incentives to move. It is not a bad motorcycle. It is simply a motorcycle whose buyer no longer walks through the door in large enough numbers. Number 7. The Ultra Limited. There was a time when the Ultra Limited was the pinnacle of Harley Davidson ownership. Full touring fairing, tour pack, passenger luxury, heated grips, long-haul dominance. It represented success, comfort, and completion. That perception has changed. Modern buyers increasingly favor sleeker baggers with lower weight and cleaner lines. The Ultra Limited became associated with an aging demographic, and that association hurt demand more than any spec sheet ever could. With prices climbing beyond $30,000, buyers began questioning whether they truly needed the extra bulk, the added weight, and the towering profile. Many realized they could get most of the touring experience from a Street Glide or Road Glide for less money and with more visual appeal. As a result, ultra-limited models now linger on showroom floors, often skipped entirely by younger buyers and negotiated heavily by older ones. It remains comfortable. It remains capable. But it represents a touring philosophy fewer riders are willing to buy into. Comment your favorite bike so far. Number 6. Lowrider ST. The Lowrider ST arrived wrapped in hype. This was Harley-Davidson's performance bagger answer. Frame-mounted fairing, compact saddlebags, aggressive stance, Milwaukee 8 117 torque. At launch, demand was explosive. Dealer markups were common. Some units sold far above sticker. Then reality set in. As prices approached $30,000 after adjustments, buyers began questioning compromises. Storage was limited. Wind protection was better, but not touring level. Long rides revealed the platform's constraints. Many realized that for similar money, a full touring bike offered more comfort and capability. Others realized the Lowrider S delivered most of the performance experience for significantly less. Once the hype faded, inventory remained. Today, the Lowrider ST is still desirable, but not at the price it asks. That gap between desire and justification is where bikes stop moving and dealers start cutting. Number 5. Heritage Classic. The Heritage Classic used to be one of Harley-Davidson's safest bets. It offered nostalgia without punishment, a relaxed riding position, a removable windshield and saddlebags, classic lines paired with modern reliability. For years, it quietly sold itself. Then pricing caught up to it. As Harley continued adding features and raising manufacturers' suggested retail prices, the Heritage Classic drifted into dangerous territory. It began overlapping with full touring bikes, without actually becoming one. Buyers noticed that for only a few $1,000s more, they could step into a street glide with better wind protection, more technology, and greater long-distance comfort. At the same time, riders who wanted a simpler cruiser realized they could save significant money by choosing a standard softail and customizing later. The Heritage was no longer the obvious choice. It became squeezed from both sides. Too expensive for nostalgia buyers, not capable enough for touring buyers. Nothing about the bike fundamentally changed. The market did. Sales slowed. Inventory lingered. Dealers began leaning on incentives to move a motorcycle that once required no explanation at all. The Heritage Classic did not fail mechanically or aesthetically. It simply lost its place in a lineup that moved on without it. Number 4. Sport Glide. The Sport Glide was designed to be the perfect middle ground. It was lighter than a touring bike and more capable than a cruiser. It had a frame-mounted mini fairing and detachable hardbags. It used the Milwaukee 8 107 engine. It promised versatility above all else. But versatility without identity is a risk. Touring-focused riders found the fairing too small and the bags too limiting. Cruiser buyers found it heavier and more complex than necessary. Performance-oriented riders skipped it entirely. Pricing only amplified the confusion. Sport Glide models sat close enough to touring bikes that many buyers simply chose to upgrade. Why compromise when a little more money bought a full bagger with fewer trade-offs? Sales never met expectations. Harley quietly discontinued the model. That did not solve the dealer problem. Leftover units and used examples still sit unsold, caught in the shadow of bikes that commit fully to one purpose. The Sport Glide tried to be everything and ended up being remembered by almost no one. Number 3. Road King Special CVO. On paper, the CVO Road King Special should be untouchable. It has hand-finished paint, premium components, Milwaukee 8 121 torque, and factory exclusivity. It represents the highest tier of Harley-Davidson craftsmanship. Then comes the price. As manufacturers suggested retail prices push toward $50,000, reality sets in fast. Buyers begin comparing value, and the comparison is brutal. For the price of one CVO Road King, a rider could buy a fully loaded Street Glide and still have room for a full custom build. Most riders quickly realize that the riding experience itself does not scale with the price. 90% of the enjoyment comes from standard touring models. The remaining premium pays for paint, branding, and factory-installed upgrades many riders would rather choose themselves. Resale value compounds the issue. The buyer pool is extremely small, and depreciation is immediate. Dealers now sit on CVO Road Kings longer than almost any other model, relying on incentives and creative financing just to generate interest. Number 2. Livewire 1. The Livewire 1 was not just a motorcycle, it was a statement. Harley-Davidson entering the electric future. Silent acceleration, instant torque, advanced software, a complete break from internal combustion tradition. Technically, it delivered. Emotionally, it missed. Harley's core audience was never asking for an electric bike. Younger electric curious riders balked at the price. Traditional riders rejected the concept outright. Dealerships were left explaining a product they did not fully believe in to customers who did not want to hear it. Range anxiety, charging infrastructure, resale uncertainty. All of it worked against the Livewire. Worse, electric motorcycles depreciate fast, and dealers know it. Floor plan interest does not care about innovation. It cares about movement. Today, Livewire units quietly occupy showroom corners, rarely test-ridden, rarely discussed, and often discounted far below original expectations. It was the future, launched into the wrong present. Number 1. Pan America Special. This is the bike that hurts the most. The Pan America was supposed to change everything. Harley Davidson stepped directly into the adventure segment, competing head-to-head with BMW, KTM, and Honda. 150 horsepower, advanced electronics, adaptive ride height, serious ambition. On paper, it was impressive. In the real world, trust mattered more. Adventure riders are among the most brand-loyal riders in motorcycling. They want proven platforms, decades of refinement, and global support networks. Harley was an outsider. Early reports of electronic glitches, suspension quirks, and low-speed handling issues spread fast. Even when addressed, the damage was done. Perception solidified. Pricing made things worse. Fully optioned Pan America Special models climbed into the mid-20s, directly competing with segment leaders that carried bulletproof reputations. Buyers hesitated. Inventory built. Dealers began cutting prices aggressively. They sold for thousands below MSRP. The Pan America is not a failure of engineering. It is a failure of market fit. Too different for Harley purists. Too unproven for adventure riders. And that is why, today, it is the single Harley-Davidson motorcycle dealers are most desperate to move.